All right, let's talk about energy audits. If you're looking to flip the script on your next audit, turn it from something you dread into a real opportunity, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole process and give you a super practical guide to really mastering your energy management. Okay, let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? That little bit of pressure that starts to build when an audit is on the calendar? It can feel like a big test you didn't get to study for. But what if we could totally change that whole perspective? What if we started seeing it not as a threat, but as something genuinely useful?
And that right there, that's the big mindset shift. An energy audit is not about passing or failing. Think of it more like a professional checkup for your company's energy health. It's a chance to get an expert set of eyes on your operations, find savings you didn't even know were there, and just make everything more efficient. Honestly, it's your chance to shine.
So to get us there, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the big picture framework, ISO 50001. Then we'll get down to business, defining your playing field with scope and boundaries. After that, we'll go into investigation mode with the energy review, get you the right toolkit for measuring success, and then we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways to make sure you are totally audit ready.
Okay, first things first. You can't win the game if you don't know the rules. And in the world of energy management, the rulebook, the game plan, is ISO 50001. It's the global standard, a clear, systematic blueprint for how to manage energy effectively. At the very heart of ISO 5000 is this idea of an energy management system, or an EnMS. Just think of it like your organization's operating system, but specifically for energy. The key thing here is that it's not a one-and-done project. It's a whole framework of policies and goals and processes that all work together.
And what's the whole point of this system? Well, the standard itself says it perfectly. The goal is continuous improvement. It's not just about surviving an audit, it's about building a culture and a process that is always looking for ways to improve energy performance.
So, how do you actually make that continuous improvement happen? Well, the engine that drives this whole system is a really simple but powerful idea you see right here: the plan, do, check, act cycle. You might see the terms in French on some diagrams, but don't worry, the logic is universal. It's this simple, repeatable loop that turns good intentions into real, measurable results. Let's break it down really quick. First, you plan. This is your homework phase. You analyze your energy use and you set your goals. Then you do. You actually put those plans into action. Next, you check. You monitor what's happening and measure your results against the goals you set. And finally, you act. You take everything you've learned and use it to make the system even better. And then the cycle just starts all over again. It's simple, it's effective, and it's continuous.
Okay, time to get practical. The very first, and I mean the most critical part of setting up your system is defining your playing field. If you get this wrong, you're setting yourself up for some of the most common audit mistakes right from the get-go. Look, before you can manage anything, you have to know exactly what you're managing. That's what defining the scope and boundaries is all about. You're drawing a crystal clear line in the sand around the facilities, the equipment, or the processes that are included. An auditor? Oh yeah, they are going to look for this first. Because if your scope is fuzzy, everything else gets confusing and you just waste a ton of effort.
And what's so helpful here is that there are three basic ways to think about your boundaries. You can go physical, like a single building. Easy enough. You could define it by a specific system, maybe your compressed air network that serves a bunch of different areas, or you can go big and define it organizationally, like an entire department or business unit. The key is just to pick the approach that makes the most sense for what you're trying to achieve. And check this out. This diagram is a fantastic real-world example of a defined boundary. Even with the French labels, the idea is super clear. You see energy sources like gaz naturel, that's just natural gas, and electricity coming in from the outside. Then you can literally trace where that energy flows into bâtiment 1 and bâtiment 2. That's building 1 and 2, and you can see the specific processes inside them. Having a map like this, it's exactly the kind of clear documentation an auditor loves to see.
So, once you've clearly marked out your playing field, it's time to investigate what's actually happening on it. This is where the energy review comes in, and it's the data gathering phase that's going to inform everything else you do.
A great way to think about the energy review is that you're creating a super detailed map and inventory of everything energy related inside your boundaries. It's all about moving from, I think we use a lot of energy here, to, I know we use this much energy here. It's about replacing assumptions with cold, hard facts. So what does this investigation actually look like? Well, you've got to analyze your past and present energy use. You need to identify all your energy sources. And this part is huge. You have to pinpoint your areas of significant energy use, or SEUs. These are the big fish, the energy hogs, where any improvement you make will have the biggest bang for your buck. Then you use all that data to find and prioritize your best opportunities.
Okay, so we've mapped our energy landscape. Now we need the right tools to actually measure our progress on the journey. Because you know what they say, right? You can't manage what you don't measure.
So the first tool in your toolkit is your Energy Performance Indicator, or EnPI for short. This is the specific metric, the number that you choose to track your performance. It could be something simple like total kilowatt hours used, or maybe a ratio like energy used per widget you produce. The point is, it's your custom-made yardstick for measuring progress.
But a yardstick is pretty useless if you don't have a starting point to measure from, right? And that's where your energy baseline, or EnB, comes in. This is basically a snapshot of your performance from a specific period in the past before you started making improvements. It's that fixed point on the map that lets you prove how far you've come.
And wow, this slide just ties it all together beautifully. You can see how it works. You start with your baseline, the reference value. Your goal is to reach the target, or CBLA, and that line showing your current value, that's what you're tracking with your EnPI. When your current performance crosses that target line, you have clear, undeniable, measurable proof of improvement. And that is exactly what you want to show an auditor.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered the framework, the playing field, the investigation, and the toolkit. Let's bring it all home now with the key takeaways that are going to get you ready for any audit that comes your way.
So listen up, because this is the secret sauce. Every single common audit error points directly to a key for success. Auditors find problems when the scope is fuzzy. You'll succeed with clear, documented boundaries. They see failure when there's no data to back up your claims. You'll impress them with a thorough energy review. The big takeaway here is to turn this list of common errors into your personal checklist for success. If you nail these 5 things, you're not just ready, you're going to ace it.
We've laid out the map. We've given you the tools. The only thing left to do is take that first step. So now that you have this framework, the systematic way of thinking about energy, what is it? What's the single biggest opportunity you can go after right now? The journey of continuous improvement starts with that one action. Thanks for